All right, we're going to look at reflecting today, reflecting a figure in the coordinate plane. So we're on page 462, so please turn to that page. All right, so when we reflect figures in the coordinate plane, it looks like exactly that. Like if you were to stand in front of a mirror and see a reflection, it's a mirror image of your figure. And you can reflect over any line. One of the things that we'll do the most is reflect over the x-axis. So this would be our line of reflection here. Or we can reflect over the y-axis. This would be our line of reflection here. So if it says you're reflecting over the x-axis like this first figure, it's like we took the figure and flipped it over the x. And the way you do that is if you have your original figure, you count how far away each point is from the line of reflection. For example, this is 1 point away from your x-axis, the line of reflection. So you're going to go 1 point away and plot it. This one is 1 point above. You're going to go 1 point below. This point is 1, 2, 3, 4 units above. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 units below. Same thing with your y-axis. If that's your line of reflection, it's like you're taking your figure and you're flipping it over the y-axis. So you're going to count how far away from your line of reflection each point is in your figure, and it has to be on the other side the exact same number of units away. So if, for example, if this point is 2 units away from the y-axis, you're going to go on the other side 2 units away from the y. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 units away from the y. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 units away from the y. Same thing with this one up here, 4 units away from the y. You're going to go 4 units to the right of the y-axis. Okay, so let's take a look at number 1, this first example. So we have triangle ABC has these 3 vertices, and they're right here. I can tell that the blue triangle is our pre-image because it's just labeled triangle ABC. The green is labeled with ABC prime, with the prime symbol. So that means this is the figure I will reflect and end up over here. So it says graph the figure in its reflected image over the x-axis. So we're going to take this blue one and we're going to reflect it over the x. So you're going to take each point and count how many units it is away from the x, and you're going to plot it below the x-axis. So if this is 1 above, you're going to go 1 below. This is 1, 2, 3 above. We're going to go 1, 2, 3 below the x, B prime. Okay, this is 1, 2 units above. We're going to go 1, 2 units below the x-axis and label it A prime. And then the very last thing it asks you to do is write the coordinates of the vertices of your reflected image, and they're right here. And notice they're labeled A prime is this coordinate, B prime is this one, and C prime is this one. Okay, if you take a look at the next problem, number 2, we have a quadrilateral that we're going to reflect. This time it says we're going to reflect it over the y-axis. So this one is our pre-image. This is the one we started with because it's just labeled KLMN. And so if we're reflecting it over the y-axis, we're going to take it from here and flip it over the y. So again, you're going to count how many units away these points are from the y-axis, and they need to be that same number of units away on the other side. So if this example for K, point K is 2 units away, you're going to go back to the y-axis and count 2 units away and label it K prime. L is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units away. So you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units away on the other side and label that L prime. Same thing with N. N is 1 unit away, so N prime should be 1 unit away, directly across from itself like it's looking in the mirror. And then M, point M is 1, 2, 3, 4 units from the y-axis, so you're going to go directly across from itself 1, 2, 3, 4 units on the other side. And then again, you're labeling what your brand new vertices are for that. All right, so you grab your pencil and let's try this next problem. It says triangle PQR has these 3 vertices. Graph the figure and its reflection over the y-axis. Then find the coordinates of the reflected image. All right, so if you notice right here on the right-hand side, you have a coordinate plane right here. We're going to graph these 3 points on this coordinate plane right now. Okay, so graph point P at 1, 5. It's point P. Graph Q at 3, 7. 2, 6, 7. So this is point Q at 3, 7. And then point R at 4, negative 1. This is point R. Okay, so we're going to connect the dots with nice straight lines. And this is our triangle that we are reflecting. Okay, so now let's read this. It's saying we are going to graph the figure and its reflection over the y-axis. Okay, so I'm going to highlight the y-axis over the y-axis. So now we're going to take each one of these points and we're going to reflect them over the y-axis so that they look like they're looking at themselves in a mirror. Okay, so, and it doesn't matter what point you start with. I'll start with point Q. Point Q is 1, 2, 3 units away. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3 units away, and this is Q prime. Point P is 1 unit away, so we're going to count 1 unit away on the other side, P prime. And point R is 1, 2, 3, 4 units from the y-axis. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 units and label this R prime. And if we connect the dots and take a look at this, this does look like this figure is looking at itself in the mirror. And now let's name our 3 new vertices. So P prime ended up at negative 1, 5. Q prime ended up at negative 3, 7. And R prime ends up at negative 4, negative 1. So it does look like it is reflecting, and we've named our 3 points. All right, let's try one more. Let's do this one down here. Okay, so the figure below of this frog is reflected over the y-axis. Find the coordinates of point A prime and B prime, then sketch the figure in its image on the coordinate plane. So if point A is located right here, and we're reflecting over the y-axis, so point A is 1 unit away, so its reflection, A prime, should be right here. And then point B is 2 units away, so we should have point B right here, B prime. And then it does say, then sketch the figure in its image on the coordinate plane. So let's just try to make this as symmetrical as possible. And try to sketch what the rest of this frog might look like. Something like that with its little feet and its little hands. I'm a little off a little bit. Somewhere right in there. All right, we will continue to reflect more tomorrow.